Hey, good evening, everyone. It is, yes, it's 5:08 p.m. Eastern Time here, and it's Sunday evening. So we're getting ready to, kind of get the week started, going into, it's what's going to be a very interesting week, in my opinion, dealing with stocks, crypto, a lot of different things. Really, we're setting things up for a big move. I want to talk about my opinion on this said move. I want to kind of go through a few things before I get into any of this. Of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. Tonight, we're going to go through Bitcoin. I want to take a look at Ethereum, Litecoin. I'm going to take a look at Ripple, Cardano, and if there's any other crypto you want me to kind of take a look at just from a high time frame perspective, let me know. But what I will say is a lot of these guys are going to look very similar. A lot of these different things that I'm going to be looking at today, once we get beyond Bitcoin, they're all going to generally move in the same direction. So just kind of keeping that in mind. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the chart here. So I've got Bitcoin up here, and I've got a different chart up here than what I usually use. I use this chart for stocks. When I'm doing an analysis and trying to get into, kind of a major swing trade on stocks. So let's just keep that in mind as we go through this. Sure, I'll take a look at Matic, Algo, EOS, no problem. I'll take a look at those. And if I forget, just let me know. All right, so just taking a look at this chart, there's just a couple things that I want to point out. First off, we've had a major move down. Right? Major move down. So I'm looking at Bitcoin versus Tether here. Let me just take a look at BTC USD. Let me take a look at Coinbase. I want to make sure that I've got a clean chart here. So on Bitcoin versus the US dollar on Coinbase, right? We topped out here at about 64.9, almost 64.9 it hit. We came all the way down to 30,000 right on the nose. And we're talking like, Coinbase is a good exchange for really paying attention to algos. And from a Fibonacci perspective, I actually still believe that we are probably going to be correcting to the upside some more. And the daily in particular, which is going to be closing here in about 2 hours and 49 minutes, the daily, we've got a pretty decent squeeze going on here in the daily. So this is down here. Decent squeeze on the daily. When was the last time, and paying attention to this squeeze, this is going to be confirming the second day of the squeeze. We're going to be confirming that here in the next about 2.5 hours. And momentum is building to the upside. Okay? We haven't seen really the momentum oscillator, we haven't seen that be in the positive territory since, the beginning of May. So it's been about a month. And here we are 2 days into a significant squeeze. Technically speaking, we've been in a squeeze from a minor perspective for the last 5 days, but yesterday and today are building momentum. And I'm betting that we are going to be seeing a move to the upside. I actually believe we are going to be seeing a move to the upside. So when was the last time Bitcoin had this significant squeeze? Well, let's just go back. And let's see if we can find the last time Bitcoin had that significant squeeze. I'm not talking about just a minor squeeze. I'm talking about a significant one. Okay? And it was going to be right here. So we had one right here on September 22nd of 2020. And then we had another one here, September 24th, 2020. And we know what happened there. So we had a decent move to the downside, and then that just increased the squeeze on the daily. And at the time, momentum was already starting to move to the upside, right? Momentum had already started to move to the upside, and it continued. We know that. The next time right here, this is what I'm actually wanting to focus on. This is from July 12th, 2020 through July 21st, 2020. So it's throughout this range right here. And as you can see, let me just clear this off. I've got a lot of things on here. All right. So as you can see, we had actually been squeezing on the daily for a long time before we got to the significant squeeze. Okay, we got to a significant squeeze here. We saw basically sideways movement, maybe a little bit of downward movement. So the major squeeze started here. And it was about $9,200. Continued, it got as low as $9,000. So we had a $200 move to the downside, but we were at a $9,000 Bitcoin. So that was kind of significant. But naturally, these events tend to fire off. And just depending on what the atmospheric conditions are, they usually fire to the upside. Okay? We saw right here, it fired eventually and it went to the upside. Here, it fired off and went to the upside. I'm kind of expecting something very similar. The other time before that, right, was when we had our big move down, all the way down to $4,000. And then we had some time of momentum, not momentum, but price action moving back up, eventually started to squeeze, and that was down here, right? And so this is when I was talking about buying Bitcoin. This was about, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, saying that you should be buying, and it was in, only 2 days into a squeeze, which momentum, again, had already been moving to the upside. But this is when I was like, we need to be buying here. And what happened? Momentum released to the upside, went all the way up to $10,000. What do I think is going to happen here? Well, let's just fast forward to where we're at now. Again, we're looking at Bitcoin, 2 days in, where we're going to confirm our second daily candle here on the squeeze. For a significant squeeze, not a minor or not a mini minor or squeeze. We're talking about a major squeeze here. This is actually significant. This is actually significant. And pair this with the fact that I think that we're going to see, I think we're actually going to see some movement to the upside in traditional assets as well. So just taking a look at this also from a mean reversion standpoint, I think that we are inside of an important area where we would see movement to the upside. And I would be looking for a move back here to the median. We refer to this as mean reversion, right? So just taking ourselves back to the median of the move. We had some compression, and then it expanded to the downside. And now we are compressing, and I believe we're going to see some mean reversion to take us back to 44 or 45. That could be significant to some people. It could be a good setup for a small leverage trade to the upside. Again, being very cautious and being smart about it. Being very smart about it, or at least trying to be smart about it. Okay, so what do we do here? Let me see if this is the chart that I want to pull up. Okay, so we've got, let me just shut this off here. So we are looking for this to continue to move to the upside. You see that we have volume that's been decreasing, like a lot. Volume has really been decreasing quite a bit here. We saw a buy indicator on the Algo, on the waves indicator. We saw a buy a while back. Let me go to the 1 hour so we can pull this up here. You can see we saw the buy down here, right? So we saw the buy when the price was getting close to $35,000. Of course, it started to move up. We saw some confirmation on this. And we could see some prices move down just a little bit. I've got some orders to layer down a bit, but I still think that we are going to be seeing some movement to the upside. So that's what I wanted to point out here. I also, again, I want to take a look at some of these alts. What are they doing? I want to take a look at alts on the squeeze to see if they're squeezing the same way that Bitcoin is. So let's go ahead and pull some of them up. Let me just zoom in here. And let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum versus the dollar. We're going to keep it on the Coinbase chart here. Okay, Ethereum versus the dollar. We've got not a significant squeeze, but still momentum is still kind of trying to push to the upside. So I would say this is going to be very similar. I would say that we're going to likely see a move to the upside. More than likely it's going to come up here to the upper, which is going to be at about $3,100. If we see a greater than expected move, I would expect it to come to $3,450. if it's really going to move 3,800. These are the three levels that I would be paying attention to here. Now, if we're talking about Litecoin, I still think that there is going to be some movement to the upside on Litecoin. Litecoin is not in a significant squeeze right now, so it is much, much different than some of the other charts. Of course, it's definitely much different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the one that has that significant squeeze going on right now. But again, looking at this, definitely seeing a move to about 231, up to potentially 284. You can see that. That's definitely something that is possible for Litecoin to do. Let me just remove this. I got to remove this from my template here. But at any rate, I still think that Litecoin finished a move to the downside and now it's correcting, right? So I'm not calling for a move to all-time highs right now. I actually am starting to become neutral on Bitcoin, not extremely bullish, not extremely bearish, and I am not bearish right now. But I can see Litecoin making that move up to potentially 300, so somewhere between 265 and 300 to correct this move, right? What a lot of people are starting to potentially see this as is a little bit of a WX and then moving ourselves up to the Y. So maybe it only gets up to the 50 at 265. Very possible that that's where that goes. Take this to the hourly, and what do we see? Well, of course, we saw a buy down here, but I do believe that we're going to be seeing a buy on Litecoin in the next day or two. I don't think it makes any significant lows right now. I don't think it's going to be making significant lows. Possible that it breaches 167, but I wouldn't expect it to breach 155. I wouldn't expect it to go any lower than that. That should be the low. If you're looking at getting any spot or even any longs, your stop loss should be somewhere around 155. So just kind of putting that out there. Okay. So I think if it breaks this, it's going to break structure. Definitely if it breaks 120, it's breaking structure. But for right now, I would say that 155 level is where you should be watching and you should be paying attention to. All right, so that was Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Let's take a look at Ripple. I'm actually pretty bullish on Ripple. People hate it. That's why I am more bullish on that. Very similar to Bitcoin, we saw a buy on Ripple down here at about 90 cents. The big buy was right here where we had the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12 hour all down and oversold at the same time, which was down here at about 70 cents. You saw another minor buy down here. That was going to be down about 85 cents. And then we had another one right here, another minor at about 80 cents. I say minor because this 12 hour was just not oversold. But you had the 1, 3, and the 12 all oversold all at the same time, setting up a great condition while everybody was afraid. Everybody was scared. And this was a decent time to be buying. If you would have bought down there, let's just say that you got right here, well, I mean, you're still up 35% from where you entered. I think that Ripple has significant upside potential. And just for the record, in case you guys are all curious, I'm looking at crypto for about the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not going to be doing any analysis on long term. What I'm basically saying is it looks like we are going to be seeing some upside in the short term, and that's what I am setting things up for. So we've got Cardano at about $1.67. I have said for a while I'm looking to get out of Cardano at $2, and I still believe that is going to be where Cardano stops for now. Taking this from the top here, and a quick move to the bottom. This was a very, very quick move to the bottom. Naturally we had that rejection at that at the 618. We pulled down significantly. We went up to the 618 again. So I think that more than likely we're gonna push through. I'm looking to get out at about $2 and layer myself out to about 215. Because again, I think crypto is gonna be corrective for the next few months. Okay. There's going to be a lot of people that are saying, yep, we're going to go to all-time highs. Maybe we do, but for the short term, I think we're going to be seeing some movement to the upside. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at Algo, Matic, and EOS. Okay, there's a question. How does the potential reversal on SPX translate into the crypto trend? That's a very, very great question, and that's one of the reasons why I'm only focused on crypto for the next 2 to 3 weeks. versus the next 3 to 4 months. Because I think that crypto in particular is going to continue its correction for the next few months. But just like the SPX, just like NASDAQ, we've got some long plays. And when I say long, I don't mean long term. I mean, we are long on the stock market for about the next 1 to 2 weeks. That is what I'm interested in doing here on crypto. I'm not looking at taking crypto to all-time highs right now because I don't think it's going to happen. But I also don't think that crypto is going to go down significantly anytime in the near term. I may be proven wrong on this, but I just by looking at everything, it looks like we're setting up for a move to the upside, not a move to all-time highs, not a move near all-time highs, but a move to the upside, and that's what we should be focused on. Because again, I think crypto is in that phase where it is going to try and shake out people. Not in a really great place to do high leverage trades. I'm in a leverage trade in Bitcoin right now. My leverage, 2x. My liquidation is like 20K. And I'm not going to let it go anywhere near that. Okay. So let me take a look here at Matic. Matic versus Tether. Take a look at this guy. Again, this same thing. I mean, all these are going to look very similar. We had a buy down here. The interesting thing is here on Matic, the 12-hour is very low. 12-hour is very low. So more than likely, the buy that Matic kicked off is somewhat significant. Yeah, it's possible that this guy can continue going down, but I would say that Matic actually looks pretty good right now. Matic looks okay. Let me just see if I can take a look at this. From this move here from the downside to this upside, we didn't quite get to the 618, and maybe we will. Let me go on log. No, I'm not going to pay attention to log. I'm going to take a look here on our arithmetic. So we had a low here. We had a lower low here. And all this time, this 12-hour is just resetting. So I would say it's possible that Matic comes down to 140, but I would say that above 139, I would remain bullish on Matic. Matic, honestly, it looks okay. I'm not going to say that it's going to go to 284, but it could go to 284. It looks pretty good here, even on the lower time frames. We have some clear resistance that we're trying to push through right here, and we're just taking a look at hourly charts right now. But right there, if we can close an hourly above, we'll say 158, that would be very, very bullish. And I think it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen here in the next couple hours. That was support, and now it's resistance. So I would pay attention to that level. And, once we can start closing candles above that 158, 159 level, I would say that that's going to be the first significant support and resistance flip, that we've seen since this area right here. If it can get above 177, that's very bullish. Okay, so just putting that out there. Matic's chart, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Let's just take a look at it on the squeeze on the daily and just see what it looks like compared to so Matic actually was in a squeeze. It started here, a minor, right? This is not a major squeeze at all. In a minor squeeze, and it's going to be firing off today, and it looks like it wants to fire off. Yeah, technically it looks like it wants to fire off to the downside, but the candle is going to close green. It's going to close green. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Again, seeing that move up to, basically, to retest these highs at 270, it looks like a serious possibility that is what it wants to do. Yeah, it could move down just a little bit, but I would still be pretty bullish on Matic. Let's look at lower time frames. Let's take a look at what the 4-hour looks like. That 4-hour block looks really, really good. And again, it closes in 2.5 hours, so a lot can happen between now and then. But it's looking to engulf the last 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 16 hours of trading activity. It looks like it's going to be engulfing that, which is, again, a pretty bullish sign. Taking a look at this block right here, which previously engulfed all of these candles. Okay, so this 4-hour block is the block to get back into, right? So again, that's going to be sitting right there about 158, 159. If we can close up above that, that's very bullish. So I would say that as long as we can push up above this guy right here, I would say that, let me change the color on that because red kind of seems like it matches everything else. So this guy right there, that 158, that's going to be the level that Matic needs to push through. If it can push through that, that would be pretty good. Is this a big ABC on Matic? Well, let's just see if we can just take a look here. Because if it's an ABC, we've got, this corrective move here, and then we did make a new low. It would seem that if that's the case, maybe it hasn't gone down far enough. But I also believe that, I've already mentioned this, I believe that crypto is setting up for, and I'm on log scale here, so let me get back to this scale. Yeah, it didn't quite hit it, but with that wick on that candle, it looks like it's pretty much finished a correction. So yeah, I would say that Matic does look like it is, it looks like it's done. From what I can see, it looks like it's done. So I would be bullish on Matic. As I'm bullish on a lot of other things right now, I would say that Matic probably has more upside potential than downside potential. So just take that for what it's worth. Make sure you go into the trade with a plan. And we've discussed a few things. One great example right here, Matic was in a significant squeeze on this 4-hour before it fired off bearish, right? So this fired off bearish. This was a good indication to move out, but that was back on June 3rd. And now we're down here. We're trying to get that move up. No significant squeeze showing on here on the 4-hour. But again, this daily is getting ready to fire off. And I would say this candle is going to be green. So I would say that it's probably going to fire to the upside. So it's going to take a few days. But I would say that Matic probably is going to be seeing some moves to the upside. All right, so let's take a look at, so we've taken a look at Algo. Oh, no, I haven't taken a look at Algo. Algo on the daily. It does have a little bit of a squeeze on the daily here as well. Let's just take a look at this on the, there we go. And we'll close off this one. All right, so going back to the hourly, taking a look at Algo. Again, just like everything else, we had a buy down here. The difference between Matic and Algo is the 12-hour on Matic is very, very low, which tells me that there is more upside potential on Matic than there is on Algo. Now, Algo's had some pretty decent candles here, right? We've had some pretty decent movements to the upside, and I would venture to say that Algo has flipped support and resistance. Right here, we had support here. We had some support here and it failed, and then we reclaimed it. Kind of failed, but came back up above, and we've reclaimed that. So I would say Algo above $1, Algo above 99 cents is bullish. Now, is there significant upside potential here? I mean, you've got this 12-hour, which has crossed bearish, and it's pushing down. So, I would say, generally speaking, there is not serious upside potential on Algo like there is on Matic if we had to compare the two. I would say that more than likely there is going to be some continued movement to the upside. Taking a look at this 3-hour, it looks pretty good. The hourly, it's kind of just consolidating, but this 3-hour is catching up. Once this 3-hour gets up here, if it gets up here, I would say you probably should be cautious about continuing to hold Algo. So what does FIL USD look like on the squeeze indicator? All right, well, let's just take a look here. FIL USD, I'm not going to take a look at it on Coinbase. I want to find something that has some price action history. So interesting thing is it's firing off a buy right now. It actually is firing off a buy right now. I have a feeling, I need to take a look at EOS. Yes, thanks for reminding me. I have a feeling this is going to be a false buy. Now, I could be completely wrong here. I know there's some people here on the Discord that are very interested in this, but this level here that we are continuing to consolidate at is, this is the support level where if we break, it's not going to be good. This does remind me a lot of what Doge did at 5 cents, just for the record. Now, we're 86.73 right now. But we've got to pay attention to these levels down here. And I'm going to take it from this low here, this candle right here. If we break down below $84, that would not be a good sign. That would not be a good sign. I had mentioned that it looked like we were probably going to push down. If we push down and we break 84, we're probably going to come back down here and retest 77. So just be prepared for that, just in case it happens. Right now, the 1 hour and the 3 hour are both pointing down. So just to put that in perspective, the 1 hour and 3 hour are pointing down right now. They could curl though at any time. They could curl at any time, and then continue to move to the upside. But for right now, we're in a pretty critical zone. Like if I was going to buy, to do a swing, I would probably buy this, but really this has to push up above this level here, and it's pretty darn close. You have to admit it's pretty close, but it's got to push up above that trend line in order to see continued movement to the upside. What does this look like on the squeeze indicator? Well, let's see if we can take a look at this on the squeeze indicator on the daily. Oh man. Yeah, we're entering a significant squeeze on this in particular. It had a pretty great day. It had a 27% day 3 days ago, almost 4 days ago. Had a pretty significant day to the upside. So yeah, I mean, can it break? Actually, this is the 20 moving average here at 85. Looking at this on the daily, it looks pretty good. It actually looks really good for a move, almost 2x, somewhere between 150 and 167. Actually, it does look pretty good. If I have to be honest here, it does look pretty good. Gosh, it makes me want to take a position in this because it actually does look okay. So Al, thanks for pointing this out and bringing this up on the Discord. I would say this one looks very similar to Bitcoin. I could see a greater than expected move to the upside, at least a move to about 118. But if you're looking at it on fib levels, taking us from this high to this low, correcting this move again up to about 150 to 167, more than likely that's where it's going to meet some significant resistance. We're going to see some resistance here looking at the daily. We're going to see some resistance right here at the 382. Right, so this level right here, just basing it off of this candle structure over here, we had some consolidation here, and now it looks like that's going to be where our first level of resistance is going to be, which is coinciding almost perfectly with the 382. That 382 is sitting right there at about 125. So you've got a lot of levels of resistance up ahead, but all in all, the chart looks pretty good, I have to admit. If we can break up above that trend line on the lower time frames, granted it's going to be choppy. We're going to have some chop coming up here. The hourly has been squeezing ever since June 4th. Again, we've had moments of significant squeezing, and we're trying to push out of our significant squeeze here. And again, the last hour was green. This hour is green, so it looks okay. It does look okay. EOS versus Tether. Take a look at this guy. We'll take a look at it on our normal Algo chart. Looks okay so far. Let me get rid of this guy here. So the 12 hour is down here. The 3 hour and the hour, of course, the buy, just like most things, we're back here. I would say that probably more than likely 565 is going to hold, and we're probably going to see that move to the upside. Now, how high is it going to go? We're going to have to just kind of wait and see. because again, this is still continuing to look corrective. So if we have created a bottom, I'd be watching for a move up to first about 808, 805, 808, somewhere in that range. Then taking a look for a move to about 962. About 960, 962. Of course, you're going to have a lot of resistance as we move into where all of this volume was, right? Lots of volume up here, right? So we had lots of volume up here to pay attention to. And then we had lots of volume here in these candles on this move up here. Lots of volume on these candles as well. Okay, so I would expect that's where our resistance is going to be. And then looking left and looking right, looking in both directions, you know, that 950, that's coinciding with the 100. Again, significant volume there. A lot of these people that bought here that are continuing to hold, they're going to be looking to get out of their position. They're underwater. They want to get out. They want to get out of break even. So that's the reason why support and resistance levels exist. You're going to have some resistance here. Let me put this back on log for a moment. You're going to have some areas of resistance here at the 618, which is going to be coinciding with these lows, right? So again, you always look left. You've got the indicator that's going to be giving you a leading view on where things are going to be going potentially for a corrective move. But you also have to look left. Look at price action history, if you've got it, to see, you know, if those levels do coincide with significant price action in the past. And I can see that we've got some significant history here at these levels, which are going to also provide some resistance, because this was significant support here at about 821, and that 618 is sitting there at about 808, again, as I mentioned. So one way or another, upside seems likely, but we're gonna have to be cautious as we move into the next couple weeks here, because again, I'm not saying that we're entering bear mode. I'm just saying that crypto is in a corrective phase. And I'm just going to close on this. Crypto's in a corrective phase. So let me get back to the squeeze here on Bitcoin on the daily. And I'm going to look at the Bybit chart. So crypto is in a corrective phase. And why is crypto in a corrective phase? Well, let's just take a look and see what it's done. All right, what has it done? It has done significant upside move, right? It's finished this move. And, you know, you could call this distribution. I believe that we're in a significant corrective pattern on Bitcoin. The correction isn't done. You know, the longer that we move sideways here, the more bullish things are going to be. But I think that we're going to be seeing, you know, in the next couple months, big moves to the upside, big moves to the downside, big moves to the upside, big moves to the downside. You're going to see, you know, 5,000-10,000 point moves that are going to span over multiple days. There's money that can be made, but if you're a long-term holder of Bitcoin, or you are looking to become a long-term holder of Bitcoin, it's going to be rough for the next couple months here. It's going to be rough for the next couple months. So just be cautious of that. I think that more than likely for the next 2 to 3 months, we're going to be seeing some correction in Bitcoin. And you know, I don't know necessarily that we're going to break. I don't necessarily we're going to break 30,000. It's possible that we will in the next couple months. I want to see what happens when we get to about 44,000. Once we get to 44K, I'm expecting there to be some serious resistance there. So, you know, you've got a lot of people, right? You got a lot of people that bought Bitcoin, got leverage long positions up here in this range. You know, we were above 43,000, you know, all the way from back here, right? On February 8th, right? So we had basically a moment, this markup here, from February 8th all the way through May 17th or so. That's a lot of, you know, a lot of buying. People were buying. They were like, oh, institutions are buying, so we're going to be buying. And, you know, I thought for a while there that we were going to kind of make that move up to about 72, 75K. That didn't happen. We had a clean move down, and then we created what everybody was talking about, head and shoulders. People are calling a Wyckoff distribution. Then we had a significant move down. Then we had that black swan event that everybody's like, oh, if it happens again, we're going to be buying. Well, did you buy? I know there were a couple people on the Discord server that they had just random orders set at 30,000 and they filled. And then they filled. I'm going to be looking to advise to exit those positions on a move up to 43, 44,000, maybe a move up to 47. We're going to have to take it a day at a time. I do think that we're going to be seeing a move up. Again, it's not probably going to be a big move to all-time highs because, again, I believe that we're going to be correcting for a couple months. I know I've said that like 8 or 9 times, but I want you to get that in your mind that Bitcoin's not going back to 65,000 next week. Bitcoin is going to be having a movement to the upside more than likely. Trading is about probability. It's not about certainty. Things look like they're setting up for a move to the upside. We look like we are building momentum. And that momentum looks like it wants to expand to the upside. So I'm going to maintain that for now. Unless we break down below like 35K, then I'm probably going to go and reevaluate. But for right now, this doesn't look terrible right here. Doesn't really look all that terrible right now. So I would say as long as we are maintaining above the daily low from yesterday, I would say things are going to be okay. And that's going to be at about 34,800, right? 34,800. That is where I would be looking to kind of cut losses, at least short term, and continue to watch the squeeze on this. Because, I think that again, we're going to be seeing that move to the upside, not to all-time highs. We're going to be seeing a movement to the upside into resistance. And then we're going to be seeing some more chop. We're going to evaluate from there. It's going to be one day at a time from here on out through the next couple months. It's going to be painful for some people. It's going to be shaking some people out. But as long as you're smart about it and you go into this knowing that there's going to be some chop here. And we're going to be trying to buy the major swings to the downside and trying to sell the major swings to the upside. Buy the dips, sell the rips. That's another thing that I see people say. I don't think we're going to be breaking 30K right now. I don't think we're going to be going down there. All right. Well, I've talked for long enough. I've talked for 38 minutes. It's hard to believe it. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share all the good stuff. If you need access to our Discord, there should be a link in the video description, bitdoctor.org, for you to get access to our Discord server. And, of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and a good evening.